What's up, running fam? On this edition of Talks with Tiptop, I'm chatting with Roman Gurule. Roman recently overcame COVID-19, and today he shares his road to recovery with us on how he's getting stronger and running farther. He shares how motivating his running coaches have been and how his nutrition habits have played a key role in his running and health success. I hope you enjoy our conversation as much as I did. All right, Roman, thanks for joining me. How are things on the East Coast?
Well, thank you for having me. And it's really nice to meet you on Zoom. And to answer your question about the East Coast, everything is good. It's a little hot over here, but that's typical for July. So we just got to deal with it and keep moving forward.
We chatted a little bit before this interview, but you were telling me that you had COVID. Thankfully you're home, but you were telling me that you were in the hospital. Kind of just give us a little bit of the gist of what all that was like and how you're doing now.
Definitely. So around May 8th, I started coming down with the symptoms of COVID. It started with a headache that turned into a really massive migraine style headache. And then it just got worse and worse. Got some terrible body aches, fevers that would make me soak through all my clothes, kind of like probably worse than when I would do a 20-mile long run in the heat, followed by chills where I just couldn't warm up, nausea, diarrhea, lost my sense of taste and smell, and just, kind of lost my balance a little bit. It was really weird. I couldn't eat for about 14 days, and I kept getting progressively worse. My friends, they started getting really worried because I was starting to get incoherent. So they kept saying, go see a doctor. And I thought, I'm in great shape. I'm actually in the best shape of my life. And I think I can tough this out. But finally, I knew something was just definitely wrong. So I got myself down to urgent care. It's about 1/8 of a mile down the street from me. And I barely made it there. And when they gave me took all my vitals and took my oxygen levels, my blood oxygen levels, they said, we can't help you here. We've called you an ambulance. You're going straight to the emergency room. So got to the emergency room, they put me on IVs, gave me Tylenol to bring down the fever. They started drawing my blood to do all the typical checks that they have to do. Next thing I knew, I had EKGs on my chest. I've never been in an ambulance. I've never been in the emergency room. I've only been to a hospital to visit folks. So it was a really scary, terrifying experience. And a few hours later, they admitted me into the hospital, wheeled me past the ICU unit where you saw everybody with COVID that was not doing very good at all. So that was scary. Then I got to my room. They weighed me and I had lost 16 pounds. So in my room, I had a mask on. I had the calendula tubes that go in your nose because I was on the maximum amount of oxygen that a regular hospital room can pump into the body. I had monitors for my vitals on. I had EKG things on me. I had an IV needle stuck in my arm, and that was me for about 8 days. I kept getting better. They kept bringing down the oxygen levels. I started getting an appetite back, and luckily 8 days later, my oxygen was holding without any assistance. I kind of forced it. I was doing yoga during the day and stuff, and just trying to do breathing exercises to make myself stronger. And then I was at risk of having to spend another weekend in the hospital, so I kind of took myself off of oxygen and decided I'm going to try to see if I can hold without any assistance. And I was able to hold it. The saturation levels they found acceptable, so they told my doctor. My doctor came and gave me a test, made me walk around without oxygen, and said, "You beat the thing. We can discharge you this afternoon." So that was on a Thursday afternoon, and it was one of my happiest times. in my life.
Well, I'm happy you're doing well.
Thanks.
Is your appetite back? How, like, your strength kind of coming back to you?
So when I first got back, my appetite was back. Luckily, some of my friends had dropped off a lot of really healthy groceries like pineapple and berries and protein stuff because I typically eat a very clean diet. And so I really couldn't move around for about 2 weeks. I had a terrible cough. I have COVID-produced double pneumonia, a really bad case of it. So just walking to the bathroom would spike my heart rate to 119. Washing dishes was spiking me to like 130. If I laid down the wrong way on my, like in bed or whatever, like I couldn't stop coughing. And so for about 2 weeks, I was in pretty bad shape here at home, but luckily I was home, and home is much more comfortable than the hospital. So then it started getting better, and I'm happy to report that in the last couple of weeks, I'm back to running. I have some friends that are running coaches, and they put me on a plan to bring me back slowly. And then I've been doing a lot of weight training, strength training, not weight training. I don't have a gym here, but my strength is coming back nicely. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, good, man. Good. Congratulations. That's a big moral victory too. It's got to feel good, especially when you kind of realize, wow, this is a real thing that's going on.
Yeah, it was really crazy. I went from I planned to run Boston in a 2:55, and right now I can hold about a 9:20 miles. So it's COVID literally took me from top shape of my life to like worst shape I've ever been in.
And now,
that was about 50 days of that.
Okay. With running coaches, like, what is this plan, I guess, end goal of this plan that they've given you? Or is it just like, hey, we're taking it week by week?
So it's just to bring me back slowly and smartly. So I'm on the Montgomery County Roadrunners competitive race team, and my coaches also are members of the race team, and they're part of our running family, our community. So Montgomery County Roadrunners is the fourth largest running club in America. So and we're like one big family. It's like literally a family. So they're helping me to do the smart thing. Don't come back too fast. Don't worry about trying to hit fast mileage. Try to just hit incrementally more miles each week, but do it at a slow pace. The fast paces will come back later on, but right now it's more important just to build up my mileage, my endurance, but do it in a smart way. So I run every other day now. They have me on a jog walk plan, but I've just been straight running now.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping myself back. I made them a promise, and because it's the right thing to do. So it's I don't need to be doing anything like crazy and doing damage to my lungs or anything, because they're still recuperating, and I'll be recuperating for a few more months. But the end goal for me is I want to be able to run a solid 10 miles by middle of August.
Yeah.
And then I registered for virtual Boston. I'm not sure that I can hold 26 miles by September 14th. So if I can, that's great. And I'm not going to have any time goals. Like, it would just be to run 26 miles. But if I can't, that's cool too. Like, I'm not going to force myself into that either.
That's great that you have a running family, so to speak, with this running group, your running coaches.
Yeah, we have a really awesome group. I can't say enough good things about not only our race team, but our race family. And then I also belong to our experienced marathon group. I'm a coach there of our fast pace group. So we're really, really tight knit. It really is a family.
You were mentioning virtual Boston. Have you ever run a virtual race before?
I have not. I have no idea what it's going to be like. I've done 24 miles by myself, so I don't know what it's like to run 26 miles by myself. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting. And then I do use the watch a lot to track all my performance and progress, and every time we're doing training runs or track runs or tempo runs or whatever. But I've I've never really tried to figure out the marathon just like virtually.
It is amazing. Like once COVID hit, and then race after race, like people were training for half marathons and marathons all over the world. It was actually kind of like cool to see people follow through on just, yeah, I'm gonna run 13 miles like around this parking lot or like around the house. Like that was pretty cool.
It is very cool. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of the stuff on Instagram, and it amazes me that some people are like when they're doing ultras in their backyard or doing crazy wild stuff.
How many marathons have you run? And kind of mentally going into those marathons, did you set a goal or was it just personal victory?
So I've run 8 marathons total. Of those 8 marathons, 6 of them have been Boston qualifiers, and 3 of them have been sub 3. As far as for goals, I train, as I mentioned a few times, I run with Montgomery County Roadrunners, and we train together. And so I've had to learn. Every marathon is a learning experience. It's like, how did I feel when I hit the wall? What did I need to do to get past that wall? So to train yourself, it's really learning from your running partners and your running the people that you train with. It's like where you learn what different gels, all that kind of stuff. So it's also where you learn the mental strength. I've had really great running mentors, and folks that have run 20, 30 marathons and like 15 Bostons and stuff like that. So they've really given me a lot of advice, and it's really learning from their experiences and then learning from my own experiences, and then just saying, okay, I got this. I've trained for this. I've done my miles. I've done my speed workouts. I've done my tempo runs. I've done everything that it takes. I've eaten clean. And so now it's race day. Let's go do this. So for example, Chicago 2019, people that had run it, they told me, don't use your watch there. The GPS is totally off. So I trained without a watch, without looking at my watch for that training season. I got to Chicago, and they were right. At some point it said I was running like 5-minute miles, and then at some point it said I was running like 12-minute miles. And I'm like, I know I'm not doing either of those. So I ran Chicago entirely by feel. I originally planned to go with a 3-hour pace group, but there was just way too many people trying to do that. So I'm like, I have to ditch these dudes. So about 2 miles into it, I ditched them, got a little bit ahead, and I just went on feel, and I had a manual pace chart, and I would look at the clocks that Chicago Marathon had, and I would look at my own clock, and so I just did that I ran that race by feel. So instead of trying to max it out, I use that as it's just like a learning moment. And so I hit a 2:57 there, and I could have easily probably dropped it several minutes, but it was the first time I actually learned how to run a marathon. So it's just a lot of just trusting in yourself, I guess, to answer your question.
Man, that's awesome. I've never heard that about Chicago before.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. It is like really bizarre. Like the GPS, I think must bounce off the buildings or something. So
I don't know how that would read you. Wow.
And it doesn't matter what watch it is. It could be Apple Watch, Garmin watch, Polar. It's just crazy.
Wow. Huh. I'm gonna have to think about that. For everyone.
But it's a great race. It's a great tour of the city. Mm-hmm. Great crowd support. Very well organized. So I would definitely run it again and recommend it to anybody.
So you ran a half, or did you run a full in February? Where was that?
I actually ran a 10-miler. We have the Roadrunner Club of America 10-mile challenge. So all the race teams from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area get together, and the race teams everybody goes all out, and it's basically to see who it's basically a battle of who's the best race team out over here, and we have a lot of really good teams. So even though you're running really fast, and it would be normally a time that would be a high place in a regular 10 miler, it doesn't happen at this race because all the competition there is really good. So we had a lot of fun. Our team, we were really tight, as I've been mentioning. So we went out there, had a good time, cheered each other on, and ran our hearts out. And little did we know that was the last race most of us were racing prior to COVID. A lot of us were going to be going to Boston and had different races planned, but yeah, it all kind of fell apart.
Have you been thinking of or eyeballing any races maybe in 2021? Ones that
Boston 2021.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any in mind?
Do I have what?
Do you have any races in mind?
Yeah. I'm going to do Boston 2021.
Okay. That is
because I have a qualifying. I mean, so right now, anybody who qualified in 2020, I have about a 23-minute cushion. So that qualifying time should qualify me. But I also have a qualifying time from Chicago in 2019. So I have a 24-minute cushion and a 23-minute cushion. So I should be qualified in. So it's that race. I don't think anything's going to be happening before April. I don't think there's going to be a vaccine in place or deployed. And then after that, I'll probably just do some of our club races, like our 1 miler. We have a 4 miler. We have a 5 miler. So just do some local stuff.
What's it like having a running coach?
So Julie and Lisa are awesome. They have a side business called Run Farther Faster, and I've never had a running coach before, and so I think the biggest benefit that I see is they are keeping me structured and with a plan to get better. Which, if I was doing this on my own, I wouldn't have known where to start. Like, I would have never thought to jog to start out with. I wouldn't have thought about exactly what mileage I should be hitting to build up. And so, they have years of experience, whether it's folks coming back from maternity or, cancer or whatever. Like, they have experience bringing people out of situations into where they haven't run in a while to back where they can run. So they're basically, it's been a really good experience. I feel very comfortable because they're my friends and I really trust them. So, and they know exactly what happened to me. And so it's been a good experience. I highly recommend it. I would have never thought myself to have a running or be coached, but at this point, it's one of the smartest things that's happening to me.
Awesome. What kind of gear are you, if I found you running, like, what would you be like wearing? Shoes all the way to, headphones?
So that's a good question, because I just got a new pair of shoes. My 2020 lineup was Nike Vaporflies, the Skechers Speed Elite, which is the competitor to the Vaporfly. I train in the Skechers Razor 3s, which is a fast tempo shoe, but I do all my long runs and everything in that. And then I also run in the Nike Zoomfly Flyknits. However, those are all fast shoes. And so I just got the Saucony Endorphin Shift. It's a trainer. And so it's quite a bit heavier. It's a lot more of a cruiser. It's got a much higher stack, but they're just out. It's an awesome shoe. It's got a speed roll curve on it, kind of like Skechers. So it helps you keep your form. So you would find me running in my brand new Saucony Shifts. As an incentive, I also got the Saucony Endorphin Pro for when I can run fast again. So it's a direct competitor with the Vaporfly and the Speed Elite. As far as for gear, it's usually just a singlet or a sleeveless tank. No real preference on the brand. I mean, I do like the Nike Aero Swift. the singlets. And then for shorts, it's either Nike or Under Armour. I have a pair of Lululemon that I actually run pretty nice. Before I never wore a mask, but now I wear a mask everywhere I go. And the masks I wear for running are from Zensah. So you'll find me with a mask everywhere I run right now.
I like the Zensah masks. Actually, I got a couple of theirs, and they're like the performance ones.
Yeah.
Those things. I've actually had a couple of coworkers be like, "Hey, where'd you get those?" Because I can't talk in the cotton ones. So
they actually work pretty well. And I don't wear it on the entire run. As soon as I come in eyesight of somebody, I'll pull it up. Or if I'm going to pass somebody, which is not very often anymore, but I'll pull it up like with enough time. And so I've been finding those masks to be pretty versatile, and it's easy to pull up, pull down, and keep going.
I want to jump back to your shoes. How many miles do you typically put in before you retire a pair?
It depends on the shoe. So the Vaporfly probably has about 125 good miles in it. I would say the racing shoes, all these carbon plates, they don't last very long. I think these new Saucony Endorphin Pros will have more mileage in them. I would say, just looking at, they have a little more outsole, so I would say they might last me about 200. As far as training shoes, I probably switch out my regular training shoes every 300 miles or so. But again, I also I tend to go on with my training shoes tend to be like more like tempo shoes, so they probably wear out a little bit quicker. The most I've ever gone is probably about 500 miles, but I can start feeling that. So, and I just did it to see how the shoe could perform. But yeah, typically to answer your question, about 300 miles.
Okay. Are we able to find you? Are you on the road? Are you running around the monuments, or are you like a trail guy?
So now during COVID, I've been sticking more to neighborhoods. We have a lot of great neighborhoods to run in. But occasionally you'll find me on Rock Creek Park Trail. It's a system of paved trails and roads where they've closed down the roads now. So it's lots of beautiful miles right through the middle of Washington, D.C. You would never guess that you're in the middle of D.C. It's a gorgeous national park, and then off the sides, there's a lot of dirt trails. So it all depends. Like some days I'll say, I'm going to strap on my trail shoes, and I'm just going to go hit the dirt and do that. But I mostly do roads and paved trail. And when we're actually doing marathon training, we're all on paved trail and road.
What are you usually thinking about or listening to?
I don't ever listen to music when I run. I like to hear my breathing, and I like to hear my footstep. So I do everything from, it's everything from stress relief or just trying to figure out like, what do I need to do today, or how do I need to improve something, or just enjoying if I'm on the trail, like just go out there and enjoy nature, listen to the birds chirp and watch the sunrise, and, see the turtles on the creek and, stuff like that. And then before COVID, my favorite days were our long run days, which is every Saturday morning, like at 6:30 in the morning. And me and the crew that I run with, I just run with super awesome people, and we talk, every time we run, we talk about shoes, we talk about nutrition, we talk about races, and then we talk about personal stuff as well. So the other thing we would do is every Tuesday we would run track together. So that was my other fun day of the week, but that's kind of gone too. So,
are you ever thinking about what you're going to eat after a long run? What could we, if there was like a restaurant or like a meal that is that go-to meal after like a long race or a long run?
So after our long runs, we always go to Panera Bread. Our entire, not just my pace group, but all the pace groups go to Panera, and we get coffee, and we do people usually get food there. I'm very regimented on my nutrition, so I'm the guy that I always take overnight oats. It's like without fail.
Yeah.
So I have rolled oats with hemp seeds, chia seeds, some kind of nut milk like cashew milk or whatever, unflavored protein powder, a little bit of honey, fresh fruit and berries, and or bananas, and then some kind, either like walnuts or pecans or something like that. That's always what I eat. That's without fail. That's my breakfast.
Huh. That sounds good. I'll have to, in this, I'm gonna have to lay out that as the menu.
It is pretty good, and it helps me recover. A lot of my nutrition is really focused around recovery and performance. So, especially now, now you find me eating like just tons of fruit and vegetables and greens and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time it's just about the recovery process. Do you do like a lot of pre-run like stretching, or do you spend more time post-run stretching?
So before every run, I do about 15 to 20 minutes of stretching. I practice a lot of yoga, so I do a lot of. So I'm always stretching.
Yeah.
So during the week, I do yoga at least 3 times a week, and that's usually for between 45 minutes to an hour. But every morning before I run, I'll definitely go through a stretch routine, 15 to 20 minutes.
Do you like have your own yoga like instructor or somebody that you follow, or are you like on the Peloton app doing those yoga classes? How are you getting your yoga sessions in?
So prior to COVID, my gym had I had an awesome gym, and they had like a super awesome gym. But their yoga studio was great, and I had my favorite instructor, and so I did yoga there for about 5 years, and so I'm basically doing the routines that I know, or movements that I know, the flow movements that I've learned over the years. And then if I need something, I usually go to Instagram, and there's a few people that I follow. And I have my yoga page saved. So if I see like something like that I want to try out and that they have a whole demonstration, I'll save it to my Instagram favorites and then go back and pull that out on a given day and try to follow that.
In regards to like running or strength training, is there something that you would like to improve by the end of the year?
The answer is yes. I want to, and honestly, what I want to do is, now that I went from best shape in my life to worst shape in my life, by the end of the year, I want to be back where I was. And that's my goal, is to be able to run the way I used to be able to run, and to be able to do strength training the way I was. So that's my goal, is just to be back, and build up slowly but surely, but just get back to being able to do what I was able to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great goal, and mentally too. I mean, that's just that'll just help you mentally.
Oh, absolutely.
Advice to those who, maybe would actually, this is a good time to sign up for a virtual 5K, or, like a virtual couch to 5K, or, if you wanted to do your first 10K or something. What advice would you give to those who like maybe want to start running, thought about it, kind of been hesitant to?
So I get asked that question quite a bit, because now with COVID, people have wanted to start running and doing stuff. So I would say just get a good basic pair of shoes. I know it's a lot harder to get a pair of shoes now in person, but running stores are starting to offer individualized fittings. So if you can, do that. And if not, figure out like, do you have a wide foot or a narrow foot, and then try to read some reviews of brands that, Brooks might fit a wider foot better. Nike might be better for a narrow foot, but just go with a basic shoe, and don't go out there and try to kill yourself. It's basically, start with a mile, see how that feels, and then, keep building up slowly, figure out what date that virtual is, and then back out your mileage in reverse. And if you're really serious about this stuff, actually getting a running coach is a good idea. They'll build you up to where you need to be, and they'll be checking in on you and keep you accountable. Because I think one problem that people have is accountability. So they'll start, but then they won't follow through. So I do think that signing up for a virtual is good if you can hold yourself to a plan.
And then I guess finally, what have you learned about yourself in your own fitness journey?
So I started my fitness journey, like a serious fitness journey, about 5 years ago. I stopped drinking. I changed up my nutrition. I went from the burgers and fries DC happy hour circuit to eating a lot healthier and all that stuff. So I've learned that if you stick with stuff and you stay consistent and you don't hesitate to try new stuff. So if somebody says, "Oh, let's go do yoga." Okay, well, let me try yoga. Or if somebody says, "Oh, try this or try that," and give it a shot. And sometimes, you'll surprise yourself that you can actually do certain things. So it's consistency, keep an open mind, monitor your progress, and be happy and grateful for every thing that you're getting better at. And so I've learned that so using all those things, I've kind of learned that I really can be a better version of myself just through consistency and just keeping at it every single day and not deviating from where I want to be.
Thank you again, Roman, for joining me. And if you'd like to give Roman a follow or check out one of the things that we talked about, scroll down to the episode notes below. Roman's battle with COVID-19 was real, and I hope you take something away from it. Every human life is important. Cover your face, wash your hands, social distance. It's not just for your health, it's for everyone's. And remember, make every day a masterpiece. Every day is a good day to run. I'll see you out on the road.